Good morning, one and all present online for today's webinar. On behalf of MC Society Institute of Pharmacy Management, Teaching and Non-Teaching staff, I welcome you all today. We will start the webinar program by inaugural video of webinar Future of Education System Post COVID-19 World. Thank you very much. Just we'll start with the video now. Now, I would like to request our Principal Sir, Dr. B.N. Jagtap, to address the audience.
Good morning to one all. It is my great pleasure to join you all today at online inaugural virtual ceremony of national level webinar Future of Education System Post COVID-19 World. First of all, I would like to extend my warm welcome to the entire participated across the India. On behalf of management, my teaching staff, my non-teaching staff, I, Dr. B.N. Jagtap, Principal, MC Society Institute of Pharmacy, Azam Campus, Camp Pune, welcome you to today's national level webinar on Future of Education System Post-COVID-19 World. Tomorrow's learning is being showcased today. We all have the opportunity to prepare ourselves for tomorrow's challenges and to be one of the change agent heading towards the future. Post-COVID-19 is opportunity to transform the higher education system. Institutes, universities should be utilize this opportunity to transform itself. Curriculum design, collaborations, skill development and faculty involvement all should be focused on internationalizing higher education. Tomorrow will be a new dawn. What you make, it is entirely in our own hands. Change is desirable, change is inevitable in our own hand. Whether you use opportunity to advantage or lets it pass us by, will decide whether the future will be shocks us or we will create shock absorbs that will in fact use impact to cushion us in our journey to better tomorrow. In my pleasure to introduce today's entire keynote speaker, Honorable Dr. Abhay Jere. He is a Chief Innovation Officer, Ministry of HRD, Government of India. Today I feel proud to tell all of you that Honorable Dr. Abhay Jere was one of my best students of my in 1996 Maharashtra College of Pharmacy, Nilanga. When I was the teacher, I have been observing that he was always interested and eager to do some innovative things. And today, I feel content to see him in such a great position. I would like to thank Dr. Abhay Jere for accepting our invitation. Before we going further, I want to review of functionality of YouTube live features. Your active participation is important throughout the session. Throughout the presentation, someone on staff will be managing the chat box functionality. You can post your question and comments in the chat box. At the end of the Dr. Abhay Jere presentation, all the participants will get feedback link on their registered email IDs. After the webinar, after the successful submitting feedback form, e-certificate will be issued on registered email ID. And my team who tirelessly working to make this program successfully. Lastly, I want to thank all of you, hundreds of education and professionals who work on a daily basis with our youth, for taking time out of your day to join us for this critical conversations. Take care, stay at home, and stay safe. Happy learning to all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable words. Now, I request Aisha Madam to welcome and introduce Dr. Abhay Jere, sir, to the participants.
Good morning, one and all. On behalf of MCE Society's Institute of Pharmacy, I am Aisha. Would like to extend a very warm welcome to every one of you to join on this national level webinar on Future of Education System Post-COVID-19 World. We thank you all for taking time out of your schedule and joining us with this webinar. Now it is my pleasure to introduce our today's eminent speaker, Honorable Dr. Abhay Jere, Chief Innovative Officer, Ministry of HRD, Government of India. Dr. Abhay sir has completed B.Pharmacy from Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University in 1996. Sir has qualified GATE with 95% and got third rank in university. Sir has completed MSc from Institute of Chemical Technology, Mumbai in 1998. Sir has awarded PhD from National AIDS Research Institute, Pune in 2006. Sir has 12 plus years of industrial experience and 7.5 years of research experience. Before joining ministry, Dr. Abhay sir has worked as Chief Scientist, Life Sciences and R&D Head for Persistent System Limited. He is also the brain and driving force behind the annual initiative Smart India Hackathon, which has now evolved as a world biggest hackathon and largest open innovation model. His efforts have established hackathon culture in India. Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi has personally applauded this initiative and last year even proposed India-Singapore joint hackathon, which was even executed by Dr. Jere sir. Dr. Abhay Jere sir is instrumental in conceptualizing first of its kind Agile Innovation Ranking Framework for ranking all education institutions in India on their innovation achievements. Honorable President of India announced the first edition of ARIIA ranking in April 2019. To guide education institution for establishing innovation ecosystem, Dr. Jere sir has conceptualized Institution Innovation Council (IIC). Currently, IIC has been established in more than 600 institutions involving 20 lakh plus students and 1 lakh plus faculty and professionals. Dr. Jere sir has designed National Innovation and Startup Policy for faculty and students in 2019 to help enable students and faculty of higher education institutions to work on their innovation, startup and enterprise. Dr. Jere sir is committed to popularize need of innovation and entrepreneurship amongst Indians. Hence, he routinely writes column in renowned English and vernacular newspaper and magazines. He has also conceptualized India's first leadership talk series, which is telecasted on National DD and Lok Sabha TV. Recently, Dr. Jere sir has conceptualized training program to convert 6,000 college faculty from across India to innovation ambassadors. Dr. Jere sir also a very active scientist in the field of biology and bioinformatics, having worked in the US, Japan and Europe. He is the main brain behind the Human Atlas Initiative Manav and currently its national coordinator. He has worked in cutting-edge areas such as vaccines, personalized medicine, and personalized genomics. As the principal investigator, Dr. Jere sir has received multiple research grants from the prestigious government funding agencies like CSIR, DBT, etc. Dr. Jere sir has published more than 20 research papers in very prestigious international journals and contributed to multiple book chapters. Dr. Jere sir has received multiple awards like Digital Thought Leadership Award by World Assessment Council, Boston, USA, Distinguished Alumni Award by ICT Mumbai, and Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Award. So may I request Dr. Jere sir to please proceed for the session.
Thank you, Aisha Madam, for introducing Honorable Dr. Abhay Jere sir to all of us. Now, I kindly request Dr. Abhay Jere sir to start with the webinar.
Good morning, my dear friends. Thank you, Sabha, for such a lovely introduction. I would like to first thank MCE Society for inviting me for this webinar. I have a special bond with the MCE Society because MCE Society gave me my first job. I worked for maybe 1 or 2 months only, but it was my first job. So I have a very special liking and special bond with the society. I would like to thank Dr. P.A. Inamdar, President of MCE Society, then Dr. Latif Makhdoom, and Professor Irfan Sheikh. I have been meeting all of these dignitaries, all of them once in a while, and they have been always very, very encouraging, very supportive. And I'm very happy to know the way MCE Institute has evolved and has made progress in higher and technical education or in education sector, because you have from schools to all colleges. So I really congratulate Inamdar sir for envisaging such an amazing institute and actually building it and ensuring that the quality is maintained as far as education is concerned. And I am also aware about the value systems, the ethics which are followed by MC Society. So it's a very, very heartening experience to be with all of you. And I will like to thank all the viewers from across Maharashtra who have joined for this webinar, where we will be talking about future of education in the post-COVID world. So when we talk about COVID, we can certainly say that this pandemic has changed our lives in multiple ways, and it has influenced multiple sectors, but it has influenced education the most. And there are multiple reasons for it. We have never seen this kind of a pandemic in our lifetime, and everyone initially was struggling to adjust, but now we are a bit settling. I'm not saying we have settled, we are trying to settle, but now we are getting more and more comfortable with the technology, usage of these technology for delivering online systems, online classes, online exams. And I believe that this is going to be the new normal, which we call in this post-COVID world. There are other factors which will also influence our education system in this post-COVID world. And the reason I will tell you. So recently, we did a study with help of Stanford University, where we compared our 5,000 engineers with engineers from Russia and engineers from China. And when we looked at them and when we looked at the data of this comparison, what we saw was that the problem-solving capabilities of our engineers is far below the par as compared to Russian engineers and Chinese engineers. We were very good theoretically. But when there is a place to apply, or when there is an opportunity to apply that theory to solve a particular problem, we were struggling. And undoubtedly, this is because of our current education system, which is more like swallow and vomit kind of an education system. And as a result of that, there was a lot of churning even before this COVID pandemic, that we need to change the way we teach our students. Our pedagogy needs to evolve. I don't know how many of you will be aware, but already a couple of years back, there was a committee under K. Kasturirangan, who is one of our most celebrated scientists, to develop a new education policy. And last year, in July, this education policy was put in public domain. It's a completely new education policy. It has really very good ideas. Like now we will be breaking the silos between science, commerce, and arts. So if somebody wants to do mathematics and music together, or fine arts and commerce together, we are going to allow that. It's a very revolutionary kind of a policy. And when we put that policy in public domain, we received more than 1.5 lakh suggestions. 1.5 lakh suggestions I'm talking about on this policy. So we had a huge team internally to scrutinize these suggestions. About 8 to 10% suggestions were found to be really very good. We have incorporated those suggestions in the policy, and now we were hoping that before this COVID crisis, actually the document will get into Parliament. But I hope that soon the new education policy will get tabled and there will be debate, and then it will be taken forward. So this new education policy also stresses upon, as I said, problem solving, design thinking, cognitive skills, because these are the skills which are very, very essential to survive in this world. And these skills are across the sectors. Means if you are a science student, if you are a commerce student, if you are a pharma student, if you are an engineering student, you can be any student, but you will require these three skills. One is design thinking skills, cognitive skills, and communication skills. Otherwise, you will not able to survive in this world. So when people talk about design thinking skills, people think or people misunderstand it. It is related to some designing products or trying to. It's not that. Don't misunderstand the concept of design thinking. Design thinking is how to think. It's a process of developing your thought process. How to first identify a problem, how to empathize with that problem, then how to look at that problem 360 degrees, and then how to conceptualize a solution which will solve that problem in a 360-degree manner. It's extremely interesting. Large number of companies are operating or using design thinking process or design thinking methodology to solve their problems. And these are the skills which are very, very important when you go to companies, when youngsters go to companies, when your students will go to companies, looking for jobs, looking for assignments, looking for internships. So in this post-COVID world, when we will look at online education, blended kind of an education, even online exams, we need to ensure methodology could be anything, but these three skills we need to deliver to our students. I need not talk about communication skills because you all are aware that effective communication is extremely critical in this world, and we need to ensure that all our youngsters are capable enough to communicate very precisely and properly about their thoughts, what they intend to do, and if they have achieved something, actually presenting their achievements. All these three aspects again become very, very critical. So we have to have some training, very systematic, dedicated courses or even classes in our college or our institution to ensure that we inculcate these skills, these basic skills in all our students. So when we said that if this has to be done at a national level, how can we do it? So a country of scale like India with 1.3 billion people and about 3.5 crore plus students in our higher education, it's not an easy task to inculcate these skills in maybe a year or two. It's very, very difficult. So we said we will take multiple online routes, and this is what is going to continue in this post-COVID world. I am completely aware that you must be knowing about our MOOCs platform, Swayam, which has now evolved into one of the biggest MOOCs platform in the world. We have more than 1.3 crore users on this Swayam platform. 1.3 crore users. Okay. But when we look at the data very critically, we only see about 5 to 10% students or 5 to 10% registered users actually completing the course. So large number of people do register. Large number of people do start the course, but there is no eagerness, there is no pressure, there is no zeal, there is no passion to complete that course in 90% plus students. This needs to change. Because now online systems are going to be far more relevant as compared to offline mode of education. Whether we will change to completely online? No, absolutely no. We don't believe that changing to online mode is a solution. But what we believe is that the blended mode is going to be the most prevalent mode. The blended mode. Because this COVID is going to continue. So some students will certainly we have to bring them to college schools because we have to teach them some important topics. Some topics can be covered online. So the mode and management of our classes is going to change. Because we have to now maintain social distancing, the classes which are currently 60 students, 70 students, 80 students may not be a reality, or we have to get away from that reality. Now the classes could be 15 students, 20 students. And if we have to do these kind of classes, then we have to have different batches. And if you have to have different batches, managing those different batches is going to be very, very critical. It's going to be very, very important. So some portion will go on online as an online content. Some portion will go as an offline content. And this blended learning will now be a new norm. As far as examinations are concerned, examinations, as I don't know how many of you have seen, but UGC has put a very thorough guidelines for this COVID crisis. And when I was talking to Chairman UGC, he said, based on the experience of current situation or based on how colleges react to these new guidelines, we will explore whether we can make these guidelines permanent in long run. You know, we can actually take these guidelines forward, and because currently these guidelines are only for this academic session and next academic session. These are not permanent guidelines. But if colleges react very proactively, positively towards these guidelines, then there is a possibility of making these guidelines permanent, or at least for extending these guidelines. And in these guidelines, if you see, there are very interesting suggestions which have been made. The first one of the interesting suggestion is open book exams. So there is a possibility of open book exams. Open multiple choice questions. So you know which are the questions going to come. You know, these kind of exams are now going to take, and not the normal 3 hours writing paper, or just multiple choice paper where you write and you mark either option A or B or C. So these kind of options now UGC is also experimenting with. And as AICT and MHRD Innovation Cell, we are also supporting some of these activities, which is extremely critical. But the generation which we have to create is the generation of problem solvers. Because currently, even if you pass an exam, even if you get great marks, whether you are employable, the answer is no. Large number of our technical youngsters are not employable. So last year we did a study and we found out that more than 30%, or even, sorry, less than 30% of our students are employable. It means more than 70% of our students are not employable. And the reason why they're not employable is because, as I said initially, problem solving skills, ability to think out of box. So we need to work on that. And as our Prime Minister is dreaming about $5 trillion economy, currently because of this COVID crisis, there could be some contraction. Certainly, there is a setback. But in a age of nation, or in a span of 50 years, 100 years, this is a very, very short span. And we will certainly able to recover from this span maybe in 6 months or a year from now. So the goal of $5 trillion economy is still a very, very valid goal. And if you have to evolve as a $5 trillion economy, then India needs to emerge as a knowledge-based society and a knowledge-based economy. When I say knowledge-based society means what? We need to generate great ideas. We need to generate ideas which are not only relevant in this country, but have relevance across the globe. Our ideas need to travel beyond the border of these countries. And if you really look at now, the ecosystem is there. 5 years back, 10 years back, when people used to talk about innovation or entrepreneurship or startup, there was no ecosystem to support them. But currently, there is an ecosystem which is available to support new ideas. So what we really need to do as youngsters or as teachers is that we should not allow any good idea to die. If you are a student, then your out-of-box ability is something which you have got at this age, which is very, very critical, because most of us at this age cannot think out of box. So if you have a great idea, don't allow it to die. Try to take it forward. And for a teacher, it is very, very important to remember that if someone comes to you with great idea or good idea, you ensure that you give that person or him or her support, you give encouragement, require hand-holding, and you should celebrate those new ideas. If you see what has happened in last 20 years, 30 years, if you see when I was in my school or college, whenever we had some great idea, our teachers used to kill it, or at home, our parents or our elders used to kill it, saying that don't focus on this, don't ask other questions, just focus on your examinations, just focus on your studies, get good marks and move forward. Same thing even continues in colleges, where if some student is not so great in academics but has good out-of-box ideas, and if he goes, then a professor or teacher will tell him that, boss, focus on your studies. How many marks you have got, or how much, what you have scored. Are you ready to get a job? Whether you will get a job. So this needs to change. We as a society need to evolve to support innovation, to support ideation, to support entrepreneurship. And as I said, now the ecosystem is there. I will share with you a small report, findings of small report, which was published by Your Story last year. And they did that study for only 9 months, only 9 months. They, from 1st of January 2019 to 30th of September 2019, 9 months. And in that 9 months, they looked at how much capital was raised by startups. And I'm very happy to share with you that according to their report, Indian startups raised more than $7.1 billion from international investors. $7.1 billion, which is, if you want to calculate it in rupees, is about 50,000 crore rupees. Indian startups have raised. So opportunity is there. People are ready to pay money. People are ready to invest. What we really require is great idea. We have more than 450 incubators, business incubators I'm talking about, which are ready to give mentoring support, which are ready to handhold these ideas, these young startups. But if you currently look at the status of these incubators, then we can certainly say that 80% incubators are 80% empty or are underperforming to 80% of their ability. You know, they are only performing towards 20% of their ability. So they're underperforming. The reason is infrastructure is there, but there is no great pipeline of ideas. Nobody is going to them with great ideas for startup. And still, in spite of all this, India is the third largest startup country in the world. We have more than 30,000 registered startups. And since 2014, more than $104 billion have been raised by our startups. Number of startups in India is more than number of startups in Europe. All Germany, France, UK put together. Our startups number is more than startups in Israel. We are the third. First is China, second is US, and India is the third country to have startups. But unfortunately, the failure rate of our startup is also very high as compared to China and US. Large number of startups, sometimes 70, 80%, 90% of our startups are failing. If you go to US or if you go to China, only 50%, 60% startups are failing. Means what? About 50% startups are being successful. Here, our success rate is anywhere between 5 to 10%, which is very low. So we need to work on that, but we are evolving, we are maturing. So I believe that in next 5 years, this will certainly change, and the successful percentage of our startups will be certainly in par with the international standards, or as compared to US and China. But for that to happen, as I said, we need to change pedagogy. Our focus has to be on ideations. I don't know how many of you, you must be from various colleges you must have joined. How many of us actually do an idea competition? I'm a pharmacist by training. My basic training is in pharmacy. Are we doing any idea competitions related to pharma technology development or process development, assay development in our colleges, where we put out challenges to our students saying that currently this assay requires this much of time, for example, and this much of investment or a cost of this assay is X rupees. Can you help us get it to X by 10? No such idea competitions happen. In our, at least the colleges which I talk to, hardly do any kind of idea competitions. So we really need to get into this culture of pushing students to think out of the box, to identify solutions for some of the daunting problems faced by our institutes. I don't know how many of our students work for betterment of our own institute. If you see, for example, MC Society, within your campus, there will be large number of problems, right? From parking problem to ERP problem to hostel management and so on and so forth. But are our students developing solutions for our own campuses? Helping solve problems of our own campuses? And many times the answer is no, because whenever when I talk to IITs and IIMs, I give talks I've done talks in all major IITs, and I ask them this question: that how many, and they claim to have the brightest of students in their campuses. I ask them that how many of your own students work for betterment of your own institute or for betterment of your own IIT? And the answer is not even 1%. Why? There is a problem. Because when we want students to solve the problem, they start looking outside. They don't look within their vicinity. When we want students, or when students want to do internships, they want to do internships in big companies. When it comes to pharma sector, they may want to do it in Glaxo, or they want to do it in Sun Pharma or somewhere else. They want those big brands. But that's not the way to go. There could be a lot of internship opportunities within your own organization. There could be an internship opportunity with your own chairman also. If you assist your chairman managing an institute, there could be a lot of internship opportunities. There could be internship opportunities in managing your own lab and making it much more, what we can say, tech savvy, ensuring that it is effectively used, and so on and so forth. But large number of students don't find these opportunities interesting. There could be large number of opportunities with MSME sector, but people are chasing brands, but they don't realize that when they are chasing these big brands, they are just a small intern in that big sea, and they hardly learn anything. So we should tell our youngsters that do a training or do an internship in as small firm as possible, so that you will learn a lot. In that 6 months or in that 3 months, you will learn what you will not learn in a big brand even in 2 years. So this is extremely important. So how we channelize our youth towards right direction. And I say this multiple times. In India, at any given time point, we have more than 80 lakh students, 80 lakh students who are doing technology. And when I say technology, it means pharmacy, it means engineering, it means management, it means architecture. We have 80 lakh students. And every student has to do a 6 months project. We all do, right? Assignments we do. In the last year, we do industrial trainings and so on and so forth. We do internships. So we spend about 6 months doing some project. And if you calculate the amount of energy, just do a back of the envelope calculation, you will see that we are investing more than 5 to 10 lakh person years per year. 5 to 10 lakh person years per year. It's huge. This is the time required for human evolution. But what happens? It all goes down the drain. Because copy pasting, Professor Google, and nothing really concrete comes out of it. So we felt that we will do multiple initiatives to actually utilize this energy, utilize this creativity of our youngsters. Because India is in a very unique spot. On one side, we have millions of problems which need to be solved. On other side, we have millions of youngsters which are bright, which want to do something in their life, which are looking for opportunities. So can we get them on a single platform? And that is what at every level we need to try and do. As a government, we have to try at our level. As an institute, you have to try at your level. So this is very, very critical for all of us, that we identify right youngster for right kind of problem, because majority of these problems don't really require rocket science kind of solutions. Solutions are easy. Solutions are not so difficult. But when they will find these solutions for these problems, you are making them more and more problem solvers and making them more and more employable, which is extremely critical for this country. Regarding, as I said, future of education, again, we are doing a very, very interesting initiative called NEET, National Education Alliance on Technology. And we started working on this initiative. You should actually look at on AICT's website, NEET, National Education Alliance on Technology. When I was conceptualizing it before the COVID, because we realized that next 5 to 7 years, education system is going to change substantially. Will be moving towards personalized education. We will be moving towards adaptive education. Currently, it's not personalized. It is teacher-centric, not student-centric. Means what? Teacher comes to a class, delivers his lecture, and he doesn't know that how much has been absorbed by students. Maybe 50% gets absorbed by student who is sitting in first 2 rows, and hardly 5 or 10% gets absorbed by student who is second last row or last row, right? But teachers' delivery is same for all. Jitna mil saka utna le lo, and then teacher walks out of the classroom. This is not good. We need to actually come up with a system which is student-centric, where we can judge what is the ability of student to grasp and then design the program accordingly. This is called as personalized learning. So when we started looking at personalized learning sector, we identified there are more than 580 edtech companies or edtech startups which are working in this space and trying to offer solutions which are based on artificial intelligence, machine learning, to give personalized kind of a delivery. So we said we will collaborate with them. So it's a very, very unique initiative. For the first time in India's history, government is collaborating with companies and are going to help them sell those products. Means what happened was that when we started speaking to these edtech companies were saying, sir, we have such great products, but nobody is buying these products because students feel that they are additional burden. They are not very interested in actually becoming problem solvers because many times they are interested in marks and grades. But the kind of education or the kind of delivery which we are coming up with is extremely unique. And can you help us promote some of these things? So we said we will collaborate with you. We will look at your products. If you really like the products, we will endorse them and we will help you sell also. We will promote, we will tell students, we will tell colleges that please look into these products. These products are extremely interesting. And if we help you sell 100 licenses, then 25 licenses you have to give us for free. That is 25%, which we will distribute in lower socio-eco strata, maybe in Jharkhand, maybe in Chhattisgarh, to students who have no access to such kind of products. It's a very, very unique initiative. It's a very unique initiative where we are now helping these companies to actually grow, because by growing them or by supporting them, we are promoting personalized education or adaptive education in this country. And because they will sell, we will also get 25% free licenses. We can distribute it to lower socio-eco students. So they will also get opportunity to use best of the technologies for learning. It's a very unique initiative, and we have now more than 70,000 registrations. So you should look at some of the products. There may be less pharma-related products, but there are multiple products related to engineering. There are multiple products related to this generic English skills, communication skills, and so on and so forth, which will be very important for you. Another important aspect which we are doing, before I conclude, is creating this culture of innovation and entrepreneurship in more than 1,500 institutions. We have established IICs, Institutional Innovation Councils, in 1,500 plus institutions, and we are holding these institutions, are hand-holding these institutions on monthly basis, so that the culture of innovation and entrepreneurship gets stabilized in these institutions. And the reason we started this program, IIC program, was that when we spoke to large number of vice chancellors, when we spoke to large number of deans, directors, they all felt that innovation needs to be promoted, entrepreneurship needs to be promoted, startup activities need to be promoted, but they were not sure how to do it, how to go about it. They were all well-meaning people. So we said, we will come up with a very, very unique initiative which will help you to establish this ecosystem in your college if you follow our instructions. And I'm very, very happy to share with you that, as I said, we have more than 1,500 institutions establishing this IIC, and till date we have reached to more than 26 lakh students and faculty. It's a huge number. We have sensitized them towards innovation and entrepreneurship. Now we are training 6,000 faculty members on innovation and entrepreneurship, because that is the way forward. That is the future of education. We are training faculties on design thinking. We are training faculties on how to manage an idea. If somebody comes to you with an idea at a pre-incubation phase, at an incubation phase, how to do market research, how to do business plans. These are very, very important aspects, because usually a student trusts his faculty and he goes to them, share his idea with them and takes their feedback. So the first point of contact is either family or faculty. And we want to ensure that faculty is aware of these kind of concepts so that they will able to guide student in right fashion. As I said, this program is getting huge amount of traction. And we are now ensuring that we will have 6,000 faculties as what we are calling innovation ambassadors in this country, because the future of education is not grade or marks, because the future of education is not swallow and vomit kind of a system. The future of education is problem solving, is innovation, is thinking out of the box, and always being a part of a solution and not being a part of the problem. So I hope that with help of this webinar and many such webinars, large number of students will get sensitized towards this requirement and will be more and will be keen on working on their ideas, because India wants more job creators than job seekers. Thank you very much. So if you have any questions, I will take questions, but I cannot see any questions in chat box here. So Sabah, any questions? So I think there are no questions. So I will just conclude by saying that you
Hello.
can follow me on Twitter.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Sabah.
Sir, there are some questions like one sir has asked that any kind of offline teaching we can do in this post COVID-19 world if the online process is not correct, or in the rural area, like students are there, they are not having internet facilities. So how can, as a teacher, we can manage these things?
So that professor has asked a very, very good question, and government is very sensitive towards this. For schools, at least now, government has already announced 12 channels. We have 32 Swayam Prabha channels, which are there. It's a free channels on DTH. You have to just put a free dish, and you will get all the channels on your TV. And each channel is dedicated, now will be dedicated to each standard. So 12 standards, 12 channels actually covering. So that is there. Then there are large number of channels which are working on engineering, education, physics, chemistry, biology. There is a dedicated channel. Then there is an IIT PAL channel, where it is for students of 11th and 12th standard, where students who are keen on preparing for JEE, IIT, NEET, they can actually go and see that channel. That channel is one of the most famous channels, IIT PAL, which one should see. Having said this, we, as I said before, we will never shift to online education completely. Okay, we will have to get into a blended mode. And when I say a blended mode, means what? Some component of offline and some component on online. So as we move forward and this lockdown eases out, we will get into, because now schools have started opening also. So now, so we believe that this offline delivery will happen, has to happen, but we need to ensure that we maintain the norms of social distancing. So we have to arrange our classes in small groups and not as big groups, so that we can do teaching in offline mode also.
Okay, sir. One more question that Ms. Savita Mora is asking, that any another vexed issue related to the placement of the students who have to report for duty caused by the extension of the academic year?
Any?
She is asking another issues that relate to the placements of the students, sir, who have to report for the duties now, and they caused by extension of this academic year.
Again, it's a very good question. It's a very good question. So large number of students are really worried that whether their offers will be honored. They have got the offer letters, they have got jobs, when they can report, whether the jobs will be honored by the company or they will be asked not to join, and so on and so forth. So they need to consult with their companies, certainly. But yes, as economy is contracting, as companies, businesses are going down, that fear is genuine. And you need to actually talk to your respective company. But as government, we are requesting companies to honor the jobs, and we are requesting, it's not an order, but we are requesting companies to ensure that they should honor those jobs. But more importantly, whether they get honored or not, all the students should ensure that, and I really missed this point, is they should use this time to develop their skill sets. So your skill sets before COVID crisis and your skill set after COVID crisis has to be different, and your employability has to go up. I will give you a small example. In 2008, when world went through economic meltdown and crisis, large number of IT companies especially had given offers. But then because the slowdown happened, they withhold those offers. So they asked students not to join, okay, or gave them 6 months or 1 year to join, okay, not immediate joining. So at that time, what happened was that large number of students which got eventually rejected got eventually employed, because after 1 year, many of the companies which had given offer felt that they should re-interview the candidates and check what these people have done during last 1 year. So when they re-interviewed the candidate, they found many candidates who were actually initially rejected, but they used that time to upgrade their skill sets. So what many of these companies did, they cancelled offers for some of the students which had not done anything during that period, and they gave offers, or even better offers, to students or youngsters who had done something in that period to enhance their skills. So you need to use this time extremely efficiently. And now, because of these online platforms which are available, you can always improve your skill sets. So don't worry whether you have to join today or tomorrow, because 6 months span is not a big span in your life of 70 years, 80 years, 100 years. So don't worry about it. What you should worry is that how I can use this time to make me more employable, and that will help you in long run.
Sir, Mr. Shirish Marathe was asking that, Dr. Jere, sir, can you share the link of IIC for the faculty members so that we can join?
So IIC is now you will not able to join it right now. What we will do, we will have the next announcement for third round of IIC, which will open soon, maybe in next couple of months, and that time you will able to join.
Okay, and one more, sir. This Shivani Rao is asking that, sir, could you please highlight at school level how can we inculcate the innovation aspects?
Again, this is a very good question. Government has started taking a lot of steps in this direction, and Atal Innovation Mission by Niti Aayog is one such step or big step in this direction, where now they have established about 10,000 Atal Tinkering Labs in schools. So what we really need to do is to ensure that we give enough bandwidth to students to try their ideas, to work on their ideas. If the facilities are not present in your school, you can try to exploit the facilities in nearby school or in a vicinity or some of the tool rooms which are available in your city or in your town. So all schools or all educational institutes, whether it's school or colleges, need to learn to collaborate. Don't be inward looking, be outward looking. Some facilities you may have, some facilities you may not have. And it's better to collaborate. It's better to join hands so that you will get everything what you require. Because now India is not such a poor country. Majority of the facilities are available everywhere. You have to just find them and you have to tie up with them and ensure that you use them for your idea.
Thank you, sir. One last two questions. Dr. Satish Pulchettiwar sir is asking that what is the future of education 4.0?
So all these 3.0s and 4.0s are buzzwords. I don't get into all these buzzwords. The reason is they are conceptualized by companies like McKinsey or Ernst & Young and PwCs for creating some reports. So these are all buzzwords for me. But what is the future? That's the question he has asked. And the question is, future is personalized learning. Future is adaptive learning. And we have to adapt ourselves to use these tools which are capable of delivering personalized learning and adaptive learning.
Okay, sir. And Mr. Karveer Agade is asking that, sir, innovative ideas need to support by the pharma companies also.
So, okay, see, innovative ideas need to be supported by pharma companies is a wrong notion now. If you have an innovative idea, start your own pharma, start your own startup. There are enough opportunities available out there. There are enough incubators which are there, which are just supporting pharma related ideas, biomedical related ideas, bio devices, and so on and so forth. So now that culture that shift has to happen, that mindset shift has to happen. Don't think of that if you have a great idea, you will go to Sun Pharma or you will go to Glaxo or some other pharma or Dr. Reddy's. You start your own idea. You start your own pharma. You create an impact. And then these pharmas will start chasing you for buying you out. Because that is now the culture where big pharmas or big companies want to buy out small companies with innovative ideas. You see Google buying out multiple small ventures and people making millions and billions of dollars by valuation. So if you have an idea, start your own startup. And that's why I will share, because this is a pharma, large number of our audience are pharma. We are now coming up with drug discovery hackathon. I am working with Prime Minister's office and especially PS's office, Principal Scientific Advisor to Prime Minister, Dr. Vijay Raghavan's office, me, then DG CSIR, Dr. Shekhar Mande, and Chairman AICT, All India Council for Dr. Anil Sasrabuddhe. So we four are actually conceptualized, and I am driving it, drug discovery hackathon. And the concept is same, open innovation. We will not rely on pharmas for drug discovery. We will rely on people like you for drug discovery. We will give you all the tools. We will give you all the opportunities, what you want. But we want you We have huge amount of pharma youngsters. We have huge amount of computer science youngsters. We have huge amount of chemistry youngsters. Can we use the energy and creativity of these youngsters to do drug discovery? And that is what we are trying to do with this drug discovery hackathon. And if we get in silico models or in silico hits or in silico lead molecules, then we are again going to throw it open for startups to actually go ahead and synthesize those drugs or do in vitro assays with those drugs. If some youngsters are keen on doing their own startups, we are going to support them. So it's all open innovation now. So don't chase big pharmas.
Okay, thank you, sir. To see the time, we can just take a last question by Archana Shah, ma'am. She was asking that, sir, the link for the teachers training, can you share it, please, here? Link for the teacher training. Link for the teacher
Innovation Ambassador program. Currently, we are reaching out to our IIC institutions. It is not open for all the institutions. First, we are focusing on those 1,500 institutions which we are working with. And then next year, we will be opening it for other institutions. So you need to wait for some time. Okay. So thank you, Sabha. Thank you very much. I think we have taken some very interesting questions. I will request all to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My Twitter handle is Abhay Jere. I do a lot of leadership talks also on Twitter. So please join the leadership talks. I speak to leaders from various fields for youngsters, so how they actually try to help youngsters on how they can learn from some of these leaders. And on Instagram, my handle is Jere Abhay, and you can join me and support me in creating or building this innovation movement in this country. So thank you very much.
So thank you very much, sir, for putting valuable inputs for the today's world, that's future education system, and after post-COVID world, what we are going to do. And as a lecturer, even I can assure you that what you have told us, that we have to encourage students for their problem solving skills, and we have to encourage them to think out of the box. As well as a teacher, we should not allow any good thought of the student to die, and always we support new ideas. And this can help us all together to emerging as a knowledge-based economy and a knowledge-based society. So thank you very much, sir, for today's great webinar. And I now request Aisha madam to propose vote of thanks for today's session.
Good afternoon, one and all. I am honored and lucky to have the opportunity to give a vote of thanks on this special day. On behalf of MCE Society Institute of Pharmacy, I am Aisha, express my hearty gratitude to Dr. Abhay Jere sir for sparing his valuable time and enlightening us on the topic of future of education system post COVID-19 world. Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your views. I thank our beloved principal, Sir Dr. V.N. Jagtap, for always motivating and encouraging us. I thank the entire team of IOP for giving untired effort to make the program successful. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, one and all. I am honored and lucky to have the opportunity to give a vote of
Thank you all participants. That's all for today. And I thanks you again for all the participants that they have shared their valuable time to attend this webinar. And I hope that in this post-COVID-19 world, what we're going to do is now much better clear with this Dr. Abhay Jere sir information. So today I can thanks all of you, and I can conclude the day for today, and I end the broadcast for today's session. Thank you very much.